I designed Freak Out, I didn't want people to know that there were clowns inside it. So I came up with a story of a little girl who's having nightmares, and year one could have been the clown maze, year two could have been a corn maze, and the idea was you would go under the bed and into the clown maze or through the wardrobe. And the far one to the generic sort of clown maze scare it was kind of the starter scare maze, that's kind of what it was, so that's what it turned into. But I never let go of the idea of Insomnia and a little girl, and I kept writing different stories, and there are actually 4 different types of Insomnia. I'm writing a stage performance one for London, which is the real story of Insomnia, which is set in the 1920s and 30s. So you take a story like that of a little girl who's having nightmares and think, okay, well, how do we get the audience into it? So it makes sense to bring that audience into her dreams. She can see them, the mother can't see them. So in this cue line, sort of unique cue line where we've got actors telling the story of what it is, it allows the audience to understand, okay, this girl's having nightmares and her mum's trying to look after her and say, you're not having nightmares, and all this stuff that's going on. We always had trouble at Screamfest with throughput, that when we did Slasher it was only doing 240 an hour, so we added another execution room onto it which took it up to 480 an hour. It still wasn't enough when we're now letting in 2,500 people on a maximum night. So the mazes have to do 800 to 900 people an hour. And the only way you can do a theatrical performance is put something in the queue line to tell that story. And we tried to do it on Love Hurts, and the audience never really understood that storyline of this Professor Hart that wants to do dates and take people. So Insomnia is really 7 years of Screamfest theory, making mistakes, taking chances, doing different things, listening to what all you guys say. I read all the forums, I watch your reviews, I spend a lot of time talking to you, you know, and what you like, what you don't like. And it's really important as a designer to really connect with what people are seeing, because when you understand your audience, then you can create a story around them that everyone starts to pick up on. And we're really hoping Insomnia does that, and from what I'm hearing, it's not only stretching from people who are 30, 40 who have children, who remember their children having nightmares, and this scene particularly with Tabitha and Mother, of when their kids are in distress, that emotional twang is working. So once we've got that emotional thing set up in here, I don't have to do loads of jump scares in the maze. I don't have to. I can just let it breathe and let people listen to those nightmares and think about the nightmares. We've got death, we've got frozen, we've got clowns in there. And it's more when people come out and they wake up. The idea and the concept was, when I leave this maze, it's time to call the babysitter. And there's actually a line in the last call like that. Time to live, time to breathe, time to call the babysitter. Because that's the point of Insomnia. The next time their child has a nightmare, hopefully they think back to that time and they listen to their kids more. So we have a lot of fun in these areas, sort of building up on that. So when everyone's in, it's actually the most comfiest maze I've ever done. I actually fell asleep in the green one for the week. It was so lovely. You should definitely sit on that bed in that other room. It's well comfy. So the nightmare kind of carries on, and the most vulnerable people are is when they sleep. What makes it even more vulnerable in the little girl's room? She's got dolls that she plays with. There's rocking horses. There's a bed that's elevated off the floor. You know, there could be anything under that bed. We've got the big wardrobe. You know, we've got the light that comes on. That door's lifted off the floor for a reason, that when Mum comes behind it, you can see her shadow under the bottom of the door. That's been designed in there because when you sleep and you see people walking up and down, you see all that. So every single space and shape in here, yes, this is part of the queue line, yes, it's part of dispatching to fit a certain amount in, but it still feels that intimate environment. The window that you're stood behind there is designed in a certain way to allow Crackerjack to come to the window to stand behind the audience member. I'm not offended if no one sees him there. The idea that would be that she's having a nightmare, but if one of those audience members catches him out the corner of their eye, they have that scare, then he's told to disappear. If he gets one scream from an audience member there, he goes. So then the idea of the girlfriend going, there was a man at the window, that he says to his girlfriend or boyfriend, they go, there's no one there, and it's just the actress freaking out. So now she's done that, so when the actress goes to sleep again, she can go, you saw Crackerjack, didn't you? And that start of connection that personalises it with all of you, the audience, and what she's doing, and she's talking to you because she can see you. it's creating those moments, again, where the mum comes in and those emotional hits. I've set the story up in these 2 rooms to allow that to go through the whole maze. I can do anything I want in that maze. It could be any nightmare, but the fact is the connection between mother and daughter, and as long as I finish the maze with that same connection, you get a loop story. So Insomnia could be 3 times bigger than this. As long as I've got the queue line at the beginning, this room, the second room, the middle bit of the nightmares could be a roller coaster, it could be absolutely anything, it could be a dark ride, it could be anything it needs to be. And then the end of the queue line attraction, I just stick a Tabitha room on the end of it to finish the package and have a corridor that says wake up, and sell you lots of photos. Like that. And it's all about that in design. And you've got to think about storytelling is storytelling. Whatever you stick in the middle of it is just the fun bit that people come to do. But the emotional hit is what makes people love it. I mean, I still get it now when I hear the Nemesis theme song. You know, those rising tones. It reminds me of a kid seeing that thing come around the corner. I've never forgotten that, and I never will. And that's what we're trying to do in these rides, that people never forget. So, active corridors all the way that run around the back, as well as all of they're not very exciting, quite honestly. In fact, they're not, we're going about that. These are bolts and everything. Obviously, there's a back area there where Crackerjack can go around the back and the windows. And we've got par lights. These are just normal par lights here, but the reason we've put netting in the windows is to diffuse the light. Makes it look much more natural. Without the netting in, it just looks absolutely horrendous. You know, so it's just a simple net that you get down, well, I don't know, little.
B&M.
You know, makes your light much more expensive. It smells of toffee apple, does it?
That's the best smell ever.
Yeah, it's toffee
I
apple.
wanted to know earlier.
Yeah, it's toffee apple. It was meant to be cookies, but the smell I've got does not smell like cookies. It smells like damp dishcloth. You know, it was awful. So this is a room that should never appear in a horror house, but it's equally as creepy. So what we've done through the whole attraction is the entrance sign is the White House with the red door and the red roof. The queue line is full of pictures of the White House with the red door and the red roof. Tabitha is continuously saying about the White House with the red door and the red roof. Even in the pre-show, the wardrobe that you've just come into, where she says, we're asleep now, come and find me in my White House with the red door and the red roof. All building up to this moment where the door opens and the sun comes up and the cockerel crows, and right in front of you is a massive giant White House with a red door and a red roof. It's just that subliminal messaging that you get sold to when you go and buy Adidas all the time. That's for you, Dean. It's that, you know, it's all about that. And we had discussions about, do we make this water real? It nearly happened, but I was like, someone's going to be paddling in it. This is going to be an absolute nightmare. But it's all about, nothing happens in this room, but it's a nice breather. It's a nice thing to take the breath of, I don't know what I'm about to head into. I've just been in the first 2 rooms where a girl's been having a nightmare. The door's opened, I'm in technically something that's called a perfect place. And when I go and turn the TV on later, there's a queue line video that we put together, and if you look at the backgrounds of the presenter, it's the perfect place and it's the nightmare and at the end. So all of those things are really coming together and using the same things through the end. It's that subliminal messaging. I've seen that before. Was she having the nightmare watching the TV, or does she draw this area because she saw it on the TV? All those things that parents seek the questions. You watch too much TV. You watch things on TV that scare you. You shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. That's why you're having nightmares. No, it's because you've got a bloody demon in your head. You know, so you might want to listen to your kids, just saying. So we've got Mr. Bear, Kid and Mr. Monkey. Comes in, takes a seat. That bed, seriously, I did fall asleep, but I'm not lying.
Oh my god, it's an actual bed.
I know. I know, right?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I did fall asleep on it. It's been a long day. I fell asleep on it in show mode because it's actually really relaxing in here. I know it's a bit odd, but it kind of looks like my first flat I had. So we've come into the nightmare world, and the constant that stays true on the attraction is the teddy bear and the bed. Nothing in the nightmares ever gets touched by it. Tabitha's in the bed, he can't touch her while she's in it. So yes, all the room's mouldy and everything, but the bed is pure, it's pristine, the teddy bear is, and that is the same in this room as it is in the first room, and it is in the last room. And it's that constant that you go through that connects Tabitha. We don't need to make her look ill, we don't need to make her look sick or tired, we need to make Tabitha look like a child that's suffering. You're the one that's in the what's missing in here is the smell of rotten egg. It's on its way, it came, it did not smell like rotten egg, I sent it back. So we've got lots of teddy bears that are lynching monkeys. We've got this is actually something that somebody gave us. That is actually something you can buy for your child. I mean, it's an alarm clock, it's horrendous.
How granular do you get, Andrew? Do you literally pick every single little bit of theming that goes in these rooms?
So I give out, I go and brief people of what they should do, what each room looks like. The theme book for this is 280 pages long of A3 pages of every single detail. So then I go to the team that sources and buys, and they know what it looks like because it's got reference images in there. So they go and buy it, and then they put it in, and then I come in and go, yeah, you know, we could do this, we could do this, we could do that, and then they kind of sign it off, even down to the night lights of what they can do and how they should be. And then all the posters and everything like that we pull together. Hello. But if you've noticed on the pictures now... Okay. What you'll notice about the pictures in this room is the white house with the red door and the red roof is now turned into the green gungy house with the red roof and the red door. The pictures of Crackerjack are now actually in the drawings when you go and look at the details on the wall. That he's actually now affecting that dream that she's got and making something that was so pure, poison, rotten and falling apart. So let's move on. So I've been wanting to do a room in a horror maze like this for a long time, where the floor is raised, the ceiling is lowered and the walls come in at the side. The beds have also been scaled down to fit, so when you're stood at that side of the room looks normal size at the end. One, so I can have a clown actor at the end of it that looks ginormous. And two, it really starts to mess with your head. If you just do a slope at a slight incline, it's enough to feel it on you that you are going up, but your brain says it can't because the room looks the normal size. This is now the part after we've gone into the wardrobe. There's a cheesy joke in there about skeleton in the closet. I'm sorry, it's really bad, but it is in there. He's on the back wall. These are all different nightmares that people have, from death, from freezing to clowns. And this is the part where Crackerjack starts to hit nightmares that other people have. So essentially we've now stopped aiming at the adults because the adults have been emotionally attached to it, and we're now making a terror maze that flows through to get the throughput, but also starts going after the teenagers. That stuff that they want, you know, where it's got the normal fears that they get, that people jump out on them, and that's important that you don't alienate an audience and your story is not so heavy that you're desperately trying to say to someone, be scared, be scared, be scared, let it breathe. If people haven't worked out what's going on in the first, there's no point trying to tell them or try and get them to understand it, and just let them enjoy themselves from here on in. There's a bit of a gag that's going on in these rooms. All these next three rooms work together from space. The wardrobe is claustrophobic from a clothes point of view. This one widens out and gets more claustrophobically. The next one is very thin but very tall. That is all to set people's brains off. They don't know what's happening, so the Crackerjack scare can really hit them hard. And that's why these three rooms are linked together like this. It's just a normal endless hallway effect where you've got a two-way mirror and a mirror at the end, and they just reflect each other, but the mirror that you're looking from the other end just reflects forever. But it's just using all those funhouse gags that have been around. So this is start at the end of the nightmare, where we've kind of gone through our own nightmares and we're back in sort of Tabitha world. And the best way to reintroduce Tabitha is the White House with the red door and the red roof. So we did it in a way that it looks twisted, that the nightmare's kind of taken over. And the whole idea of this maze at the end, if the actresses can get round to doing it, is that Tabitha disappears and the whole room goes black. Tabitha disappears, and because she's woken up, and you can hear her mother saying, "Tabitha, Tabitha, wake up." So she disappears because she's woken up, and Crackerjack gets you, and you go down the final corridor which says, "Wake up, wake up, wake up," and you've got the light that you're heading towards to kind of make a final statement of a ride where you went to sleep in this little girl's nightmare. The mum was there, she's having all these problems, you've been tried to save her, you can't save her, now you've got to wake up, and it's a continuous story that you have all been a part of the movie. That's what's really important on it, that the guests are actually the final actors in the world. So when you come through, look at all the pictures on the wall of the White House with the red roof and the red door. It's got bars on the window now, so they match what's going on in the room, but all the colours have been sucked out of the world, and Tabitha's bed is not touched into the final bit where you wake up. And if you look on the left, this was meant to be, what on the left was meant to be outside. You know, "I will meet you again soon, Crackerjack, sweet dreams, time to wake up, time to call the babysitter." So, part of being an attraction designer is taking a world, taking a dream, and taking an idea and understanding how it's going to theatrically perform. It's the same on roller coasters, it's the same on rides, whatever you do. You can do the set design from an architecture point of view, but you've got to have a good understanding of show, understanding of an audience, and understanding how the lighting works. This looks like a normal room, and it looks like a normal room because it's laid out like one. You know, we've got the lights that would be in a normal room, it's night time outside, so we've built the set back, where we've got the blue lights on outside. And as you can see in the roof, there's 4 different spots. That's so the actress playing Tabitha can scream in very different areas where the mum's going to be when time stops. We also have show lighting in the back, which is just 2 paths to allow backlit, so the whole room kind of can perform and give different people different perspective as it goes on. The whole idea of this room is to really tell the audience what's happening in Tabitha's world. She's drawing pictures of the White House with the red door, and she's handing them out to the audience. There are 5 show buttons in this room. There's one over here where Tabitha's having a story read by her mother. We've got the TV, we've got the door, and we've got the drawing. But the one I like the best is this one here. Triple show.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Did we enjoy Timmy Biggles' Big Farm shows? I did. Now, we've got some amazing drawings from the children of our audiences. Would you like to see them? First, we've got a picture from Jonathan on a big red tractor from Timmy Biggles' farm, having an early driving lesson, are we? At the age of 5, that's brilliant. What a lovely picture. Hope to see you soon on the roads. Then we've got a picture from Josh having a picnic with his teddy bear Paul. Are you having a good time? Brilliant. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great day. Happy 4th birthday. Then we've got a picture from Tabitha with a house that's white with a big red door and a big red roof.
I love having the Soul Seekers sing at the end, because this used to be Soul Seekers in there. There used to be the big facade here. Soul Seekers was always about a most haunted style television show that people were watching at home while you were here in it. So to have an opportunity to have a family watching it And the whole idea of the TV show is it's quite a normal thing of a kid sitting there watching telly, and then she's watching things that she shouldn't. And Mum's like, you're having nightmares because you're watching horror. So turn it over. So she puts on the kids' programme. Tabitha's watching it. Her mum freezes because Crackerjack comes into the world because she's going to bed and she's getting tired, so he's breaking through. To a bit where she's screaming and her mum comes back to life and she's watching Soul Seekers. Of course, there's nothing, you know, a child. Well, the issue with a child is what she's watching on telly. Not anything else that's going on in her life, it's what she's watching on TV that's the problem. So he's playing with all of those different stories in this room to create those connections which an older audience feel because they've been through it, which then carries on into the next room. Again, really simple lighting because it doesn't have to be complex. You don't have to fudge your scene. You know, we've just got a normal light that would be in a TV, which would be in a room, which is here. This is actor controlled, this one. It allows the actors to control when the shows happen, so this one's not show controlled, there's a switch out the back. But just going from a normal room like this with the light on to switching off changes the room instantly into that sort of nightmare vision where we've got the light coming through, there's a storm kind of going on. The actress has got a show button in the bed somewhere, there it is. There's 3 shows triggered on this. There's one where he puts his hand out the wardrobe, there's another one where he appears at the window, and there's another one where he runs out the wardrobe. And that light above your head is only there for that last show. And it's just a simple thing, she just presses it. This is the wardrobe one. Again, there's no real major lighting change in it, there doesn't need to be. Sometimes when you have lights to do something, it doesn't mean you have to use them. Let it have its moment, let it breathe. So that one, the lighting didn't change outside at all, because it's that that's being said. So then when the next one comes on, people go, okay, what's next? So we turn all the lights off and do lightning. Changes the room completely. He's normally stood at the window there. There, the window's properly changed, and no one's going to see all 3 of these shows in this room. They're not meant to, because I don't want everyone to see him banging out that wardrobe every time. But the 3rd one's the big one, where it starts with knocking on the wardrobe door, and then that light comes into use. So all the backlights are turned off. I don't want this distracting, so you switch between the 2, they never flash at the same time. So when all the lights come back up, it goes into a different state. So all that stuff is thought about from a design process in the drawing stage of how I want these scenes to be worked and how I want them to go through. So I'm just going to press the next show in there and as you come through. So if you notice the red lights come on in the roof.
I'm trying to stay away. Crackerjack won't be far away. Come and find me in my white house with the red roof and the red door.
So one thing you guys would never have seen in the walkthrough is this room's in its nighttime state. There's a soundtrack in here playing nighttime, and the lights are nighttime. No one will really see it unless they're in this room for longer than they should be. It's a little bit of detail that I like to add into my mazes that I know probably no one's going to see. What happens is when that show finishes, the sun comes up in here. That'll go yellow, and then it'll all go blue. Okay. It's a lovely state change that no one ever sees, but I know it's there. And if people are in this room too long and it goes back to night time, it's a thing to kick people out of here. I think little bits like this are important. You know, I don't know why I put them in, it's a nightmare, but yeah. Another soundtrack, there you go. Yeah, I'll go back. Sun will go down again. Yeah, so it's as far as you're concerned, it's batshit into that, and then it's where you can correct. So this room's linked to those. So when that one kicks out and they open, it makes the sun come up. Depending on, it doesn't matter which one kicks out, they'll both do it. It's quite a complex system to run it, but yeah, so the idea is these kick out every 20 seconds, they can have a maximum of 14 people in, even though the maze works better with 8. It works better with 1, quite honestly. But you know, we can't do that. But they can hold 4. They can hold 20. But recommendation is 14. The attraction is safe from a fire point of view for 20 people. But as soon as you start going over 14, 15, 16, the experience starts to really dip off from that point of view. So I always try to keep it low. But these just kick out all the time. We've got a CCTV camera in here, and how these were working tonight was perfect. The groups were meeting up in the maze at the end, in the mirror maze, just because the show's too long in there. It will be changed tomorrow. It won't happen anymore. You just can't do it. So we're now in Home Nightmare. The lighting has now changed to green on this, where it was pink and white in the last room we were in. But the actual lighting out the window is exactly the same as that first room at night time. So the state is exactly the same, because now I can start playing with the colour. Yeah, it's all green and everything, it's not pink anymore, but the actual night outdoor bit, when she was going to sleep, is exactly the same. So when the button's pressed, destroy it, and the strobe being white allows the room to be shown as green. That going red, the room's going green. So using a white strobe, you would set. It was quite long than I thought it would. Using a white strobe, you set dress in a lot more detail. You would never use a red strobe in this room because the colour of the green would go black. You're mixing colours with lights. If any of you guys use Photoshop and you do your video editing, RGB works the same as lights it does with paint. So you should never do it. If you're going to spend a lot of money and time set dressing, making a room green, use a white strobe. If you want to inject that horror red into a scene, do it out of the window. Because then they can mix together, but don't do it all at the same time. What you'll notice is the strobe comes on to show the green, the red comes on later to get out. So I'm going to hit it again, and you'll see what I mean. So again, you're going to notice with when you go through the rest of the maze, just see how I've mixed colours with lighting. They never mix in here. We've got the red light behind the windows, so that stays contained. We've got the black and the red, and then all the death beds and the clown bed and the blue bed, they're all mixed together to create. The reason I use like these spots and these LED strips under the bed is I wanted people to see the end of the room, but I wanted to contain the lighting. I didn't want to flood the whole space. So this is the death bed, that's the frozen bed, that's the clown bed. And if you do this sort of lighting, then you can contain it. It's about containing lighting, please. Remember that when you do your room with your clocks. Just contain the lighting. Rain in here, but I couldn't get the drainage to work. You see the little curves when it's raining in there. So this is just a typical scare. I'll just keep going. Except for the audio doesn't work for some reason. love this corridor and show modes.
That's actually now stuck on. That's not going to stop.
So the mirror maze is actually a little bit more intelligent than just going through. There's 3 sensors in that mirror maze as you go through. The first sensor is a bolt of lightning. That's to tell the first actress that there's a group coming. The second bolt of lightning in the middle is to tell the other actor a group's in the middle. And the third bolt of lightning is to tell them they've got out. So it's telling the actors where everyone is in there. But it doesn't work very well. It's got a bug in there and I can't work it out. So the soundtrack in here is Cracker Jack saying stuff, it's too loud, I'm moving on. So these scenes would, I don't know if any of you guys are techies or interested in the tech. The whole show system is on one single universe. There's only one computer system that controls the entire attraction. When we used to do them here, I built the old control system and it got unmanageable. Slasher had 4 laptops in it, one with Windows 97, one with Vista, one with, it was going to go eventually. So the whole attraction works off one QLab system with Camsys. That's what's running it. It's important that now I have a system like that because when I'm programming it, I can make decisions. The whole idea of this room is Tabitha has to disappear in that bed. That means I've got to kill all lighting in the local area. So I need to control the exit corridor gobo. I need to control that light out there that's powering her house. It's purple right now. I need to control this spinning light here on and off to make it pitch black and cover up that emergency light green bloody LED. So when I press the button, wherever it is, when I press the button, this room goes into pitch. What you wouldn't have noticed when you're in here is that light out there going off as well. It pitches the whole thing out. So then she can wake up, he can come out of the cupboard and do the final scare. When it finishes, that purple light will reset, but it also tells the actors in the mirror maze that this room's now empty. Well, this room is active. So there's all these cues through the whole mirror maze telling the actors where people are. I don't want people to meet up. It's something I really don't like happening. So we try to put all these systems in. You can see it's all reset, it's all just put back on. So when you walk down that corridor, the last sensor picks you up, does the gobo, triggers the sound to finish the story, but it's also done on purpose. It looks cool, but it's also to make this room pitch black, otherwise we've got massive light bleed from that gobo because it's bright. The door's shut, so here we go. Sigh relief, that's it. Everybody else. So we've got a different show that's going to be installed tomorrow that doesn't have that 1x1, 2x2, the man for the axe is coming for you. It's just, as soon as you go in there, the smoke machine will just go instantly off and we're not going to hold people in there anymore. It's from a show point of view, it's bad. From an OPEX point of view, it's good. But if it allows Tabitha in the last room to disappear if she wakes up, that's much more important from a show and a narrative point of view than that nice piece. So yeah, that's Insomnia really. But if there's any more questions, happy to answer them. Or
no, that's very good.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I hope you've enjoyed our video today. If you have, why not subscribe? Then you can be among the first to find out when we upload a new video. Also, if you head over to our Facebook page, you'll be able to find photos and more information of the stuff that we get to on our park visits. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.